these are the Katrina Gallery walls. These are two walls I built. They're double-sided, and we only have like 150 pictures up. We have another 300 to put on the wall with the captions underneath them. So we have 8,100 square feet in here. So we just partnered with Global Green a few months ago. Are you all familiar with Global Green?
I am. I went to your website and kind of researched and looked around a few months ago.
Did you look? But did
Not
you
recently.
But did you go to Global Green's website?
Yes.
Did you see all the celebrities they have on their board?
No, I didn't research the
Yep,
board, but
yep,
you're going to
look
share
at
with
their
us
board.
right here.
They built $20 billion of these buildings all over the world. This is a $10 million building. It runs on solar energy. So they're working on a big project. Hopefully any day now, we're gonna have a big press conference with CNN over here. So the essence of the project, we can't talk about it until we get a few more signatures on board. But we have about $10 million of archives in here, aside from this collection this lady sent us part of it. So this collection this is amazing collection. I wish it's very small. Some of them you have to have the magnifying glass to read them. It's the
You said it's all hand drawn?
Everything is hand done. It's all on archival paper. She only framed one of her drawings. The other ones are in shrink wrap.
When my kids were little, they put me on profanity rehab. Aw. I had to pay a quarter every time I cursed.
That sounds like the kids at the convention center after Katrina. They were playing Pity Pat. Are you all familiar with Pity Pat?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the kids, they had a lot of trauma over there, but for some reason these kids in different groups, they found something to entertain themselves. So this one group of young girls, I guess it was about 8 of them, they was playing Pity Pat. So I asked them, I said, could I play? They said, do you have a quarter? They was playing for a quarter. They all was about 6, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah, but the rhythm and all that rhythm and I watch them now. It's like, I know we used to do patty cake, but now they take patty cake to a whole nother level.
No, Pity Pat is a card game. That's a card game.
That's a card game.
Oh my bad. I think, okay, all right. I'm way off. I'm thinking that it was
that's like folks who play Tonks and Spades and Pity Pat.
Okay.
Yeah, Tonk is an old game also.
Okay.
So we're gonna ask you.
Do we have those images yet? Anybody?
They're on the screen. It's on the screen. It's on the screen.
What are we looking at now? What is this?
So this is a 3 feet by 4 feet drawing of the Mississippi River along New Orleans and the Bayou.
Okay.
It's part of the 60,000 slaves that came through New Orleans.
Okay.
It's all hand done, and many of those slaves have relatives right to this day in New Orleans and southeastern Louisiana.
Okay.
So, it's 43 pieces, and we have 6 of them here. So there's another.
So when did these slaves, are these slaves that came from like Haiti or straight from Africa? I know a lot of them came through Haiti.
All the slaves came from Africa. They just came, Haiti, this was a dropping point, but they all came through when they came to America, they came through the South, and they all ended up.
Right. But I know that some of them actually like relocated to New Orleans during the war, during that Haitian.
But they relocated, but I'm talking about the slaves that came through here for sale.
Ah, got it.
4 million slaves came through these ports. And
Right.
60,000 came through New Orleans, and this lady documented all 60,000,
Really?
all by hand.
Wow.
So we're just trying to get a idea. Actually, we need something in writing, really, to put the to so when we get the money to insure those and the other artifacts that we have in here. The artifacts, the quintessential artifacts of the museum is the Katrina slits. That's about 10,000 families' names we collected in the convention center when I was there.
Mm.
So,
Omar,
yes,
hook up with the woman at the Whitney plantation, because I was there this,
I know about the Whitney Plantation. I know everybody that works there. I'm not
and
gonna.
they have a list of all the slaves, the slave kids that died, I think.
No,
They have,
they don't have what I have here.
okay,
I've been in there 3 times. I know John Cummings. I know
so there's,
Dr. Sick. I know all those guys over there.
so there's no connection with what they've got in the documentation you've
They
got.
don't have this here.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because the people, I guess, that came to the Whitney plantation were the slaves they owned. Am I correct, Omar?
What we have here is the slaves that went to all the plantations.
Okay.
60,000 names. And some of them went to the Whitney plantation. Some of them went to some of my family plantations. My family has several plantations. I have a list of them. I'm what you call a real bowl of gumbo. You know what gumbo is?
Yes, but I'm thinking,
Well, I'm all mixed up. I have African royalty, French royalty, Spanish royalty, and Creole royalty in my bloodline. And
Can you go,
I have the documents here to prove it.
can you go back to the other one, Liza,
So this one
or
here,
whoever's sharing? The
but see
one
that-
that had showed the river?
The one with the river is the names of the people that she listed that came through New Orleans to ports.
But what I wanted to ask you, if what I'm looking at along the river is what I remember from the plantation I went to visit with my daughter, all along the river, all those parcels were all plantations, right?
That's
Each and
correct.
every one.
That's what
Each
you're
and
looking
every one of those little tiny slivers was a
That's
different
right.
plantation.
That's correct. That's right. That's because most of the plantation was along the river because they needed the water for the crops and drinking and all that. So from one end of Louisiana to northern Louisiana, there were plantations, and just the ones north of New Orleans, those are the ones that survived. And most of them are tourist attractions.
that's
the-
what Whitney is. a
But the
tourist
Whitney is
attraction.
the Whitney is the one that is more educational. It's so much in there to see. It's hard to see it in one day, really.
So you're saying like this one drawing we're looking at, you have 45 drawings that illustrate all this research that this person
Yes,
did
yeah.
over 8 years.
Yes, right. It's
And
43. So we
and so
have 6 of them here now. She's
well
on-
and you said the rest she has to bring in person because she can't
Yeah.
ship them.
Yeah, she said they're too heavy and it would be too much money. So she's gonna
So tell them the question you were asking me that I didn't really know the answer.
Well, we wanted to get an appraised value of the collection. Also, there's the ones that you shared earlier, the 4 that's on the couch with the purple cloth. Those are all the plantation owners on some of those charts there. And details about their plantations. So we have an idea what these drawings are worth, but we have to reach out to artists like yourselves to give us an appraisal what you think they're worth. You know, it took her 8 years traveling back and forth from Seattle to DC, going through the microfilm, and then she had to actually draw each. It's really a drawing, really. Everything is penciled in. very detailed. This honoring by name is, we just got those in yesterday. And then you have to, when
Are those slave names on there?
yes, yeah, slave names. So the chart to the chart honoring my names. This particular plantation owner, he died, and they had to auction off all his slaves. So they have a price by almost every slave there. After he died, they had to sell all his slaves.
I see what you're saying, why you would need a magnifying glass.
Yeah, you need a magnifying glass to read a lot of this. Some of it you could read, but so we keep a magnifying glass next to the table, so when people go up there, they want to read. Like this couple came yesterday, they stayed in there for an hour and a half.
So I'm gonna ask Lisa to chime in. I know you mentioned the Whitney, because I mean, that's what I'm most familiar with. But where would you think, like, I was looking at, this is post-production work and of the maps. I also wrote down, the library archives. But he needs someone to appraise that collection that he has so that he could use it as an in-kind contribution. So what would you suggest in terms of finding someone to appraise this, and what direction would we advise him to go?
I think there are two ways. One, he could play like he's trying to get it insured, but then the insurance company is going to probably acquire an appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
And then to me, it's more historical document than art. So I don't know if you're looking at it as art or historical document, because then you would add, because it's really, I don't know, because basically what you're paying to insure is all the work that she put into it in terms of her research work. So I have no.
Wouldn't she have to give the value of that herself?
Well, let me tell you about Phyllis. It's something about an artist. A lot of times they really don't know what they're worth. It happens. Musicians, in fact, people take advantage of artists and musicians. They take advantage of the musicians in New Orleans to this day. So she told me she thought it was worth about $10,000. There's no way in the world this work is worth $10,000. And so I told her, one of our board members, she's an interior designer. She works back and forth between Hollywood, with those Hollywood folks out there in New Orleans. So when she saw one piece, she said about $1 million each. That's what she told me. So she said she wanted to know until she get back in town. So she's coming back in town next week.
But wouldn't you deal with someone that deals with historical artifacts that auctions?
That'd be better. That's right.
To me, it's more historical document, and I think that's what Kayla's saying. So you'd have to deal with someone that deals, some of those auction houses that deal with historical artifacts that they put up for sale. To me, that's what it's closer to.
Mm-hmm.
And how many pieces? But I know that
it's 43 pieces.
And because I know when people are trying to get appraisals to go to auction, that for art, that appraisal process is pretty expensive. A lot of times it's worth more than some of the artwork unless you've got a real big expensive piece. So I don't know anything about appraisal of. Maybe you can call, and I'll put the information in the Black historical, that group, because that we did in terms of archive and stuff. They may have a better sense because they're from Northwestern and from all the libraries. And I know Northwestern has that African collection, but I don't know how they appraise it, or even if they appraise it in terms of what value they put at it.
Well, let me say this. When he asked me the question, it was very compelling to me on a lot of levels. One is to his point about how artists and creatives themselves really undervalue our worth. But more than that, my brother works for, I didn't think about that. I'll ask my brother Omar who they're
Okay.
using, but I don't think these people actually are appraisers. They just won the contract with Chicago Public Schools. But
Mhm.
Chicago Public Schools has a significant collection of WPA era murals in its schools, and they wanted to get it appraised for value so that they can claim it as assets, which they are. So in that same vein, Alpha, is what made me think about the Sojourner Truth Museum as well as the Katrina National Memorial Museum, because when you can claim artwork that has been appraised as an asset of the institution, you can actually add it to your balance sheet to show like the value that, or the financials of the organization, which helps bolster other things that you might need to do, or applying for things and stuff like that, as well as just knowing that value for insurance reasons as well. And I'm sure Shona has stuff in the museum, as well as perhaps even murals that could benefit from valuation or appraisal.
You hit the nail on the head.
Sorry about that. I was over there making my lunch when you were talking.
That's
Oh,
okay.
I need to go do that.
I was trying to make my lunch so
What-
that I could be ready when it's time to get out of here to go over to Bloomingdale.
One of my board members said, once we got this building, we was going people were going to start donating all types of artifacts to us, and it's actually started immediately, really.
That's the same, to be true with Sojourner Truth. They have a lot of artwork in Northern California that people are calling them to come pick up in the Bay Area and different stuff like that. She said, especially after, the George Floyd incident and the riots, people were just saying like they just needed to let go of their collections, and they're donating them to the museum. But then they also have appraised them and know what the value of the work is. When Lisa was talking about the Black archivist, that would be a start. But I was also thinking about, the university there.
Who might, oh, I'm sorry. The Smithsonian, the African American Museum at the Smithsonian probably would have the most resources if you could get in contact with them, because all that stuff that they've got has been donated, and they may have a better sense, because that's the type of thing that you might see there as to how you might evaluate it. But I don't have any contacts at the Smithsonian, but I know that Dino, who is with the Black Research Consortium, got the Smithsonian to come and help archive with the DuSable archive local records. So that might be an avenue, because they got a whole lot of things donated when they opened that, and they're still collecting stuff.
That's right. Yeah, they said they have a whole warehouse of artifacts.
You already checked with the DuSable?
No, I haven't checked with the DuSable. I've been in touch with them about some other things, but I have actually, Kayla was the first person I shared this with.
Right.
You might try to also talk to the Smithsonian, the African American Museum at the Smithsonian, to ask, to just inquire how might.
Okay, I'm gonna do that today.
Who they might can refer or recommend. It's kind of hard to get through to them, but they should have it listed on the website as to who does what.
I actually have one of the board members' email address, so I'm gonna email her.
Okay.
Right. It's always good to have somebody to sit on the board, help with the research.
Are we a think tank or what?
We are a think tank. Yes.
That was a rhetorical question.
All right. Yes, we are a think tank. And I
also,
just recently
also this is the matriarch's time. A lot of people don't understand that, but this is the matriarch's time. It's time for the female to rule. I saw this when I was on my 33-day fast in 1987. I shared a little of that with Keela yesterday for an hour and a half. It was an hour and a half on the phone, huh?
You know who was just talking about a matriarchal society was the Cherokee Nation.
Mhm,
I had went to one of their powwows down in, Georgia, in
mhm.
northern Florida, and they were talking about when the Spanish came, they didn't want to deal with the women, but the women were the ones that were in charge of the whole matriarch system. You know, it was the queen. It wasn't a king. It was the queen that was in charge of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was news for me. I didn't know that when I went, they were telling the history of their encounters with the Spain.
There's so much history, even on the continent of Africa, of matriarchal systems, the way naming happened, the way lineage was passed down was all matriarch. I mean, not everywhere, but there were many cultures on the continent that did not function from a patriarchal standpoint.
So I think with your conversation is to get with the artist so that she can talk about the value of the work with her credentials and her background. And then, what your insurance agent will value the work at. And then have it all documented.
Okay,
Mhm.
appreciate the help.
Right. So those things can happen. So like I said, you can increase your, like we were talking about your organizational, the value of the collection. And then do the second part with going and doing the research or having your intern or whoever is there as your archivist contact, the Smithsonian or contact, even the Institute for Museum and Library Services. You're part of that too, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
And we received a grant. The Sojourner Truth African Heritage Museum received their first grant from IMLS. It's a 2-year grant opportunity for us. So those are good questions to ask when we start these, these professional development trainings with their staff,
Got it.
But congratulations on the acquisition.
Thank you.
And I mean, the Sojourner Truth has a huge, nothing like, what you're talking about in terms of the historical value and content. But they have this huge, over 2,000 square feet of murals that are, as part of the museum. But she knows the value of those because of the owner who invested into the public art and how much he paid for those, to be painted. So he knows what that portfolio looks like and the cost of that mural, and like I said, a lot of artists don't know their market value of their work. But here, in this case, from the first mural that went out, he was paying 10, 20,000. And so it was huge collection. He knows what, again, the value of the work and because of what he paid for. And that's all part of the museum. When they do the tours up there, people come through those corridors and throughout the whole building to see those murals. Yeah, and I really like the way you built those walls.
So what are we gonna do? we're waiting on some funding. We're gonna put kiosks on each end. And people will be able to go to listen to the stories on each end. They could read portion of the story, but they better read the stories more in detail on each end of the kiosk of each end of the walls. And see above, right above there, you can see the conduit sticking up on each end.
Right.
There's going to be lighting up there that shines down on both sides of the wall, and it's going to be a display sign, like what events are going on, or what kind of message. It's going to be a running sign on both sides. So it's electric inside the walls. When we built it, we put electric inside the walls. So the building is a total environmental building. It runs by solar energy. The outside walls is about 8 to 10 inches thick, with insulation blown in between with a corrugated plywood on each side with 5/8-inch drywall on top of that.
Omar,
Yes.
can you make an introduction for Artist Design Future to someone at Global Green?
Oh, without a doubt. Well, what we would like to do is see. I guess Kali couldn't sit in. Kali, her and her friends, they have an art collective like you all have. It's about 7 of them, and so we're gonna have programs for each one of those artists. Gonna be paid. They're gonna be instructors inside the museum. So we're gonna have 2 rooms that's gonna be dedicated to whether it's dancing, sculpture, music. So what we could do is we could make you all a part of that, and you could come down to teach your specialty for a few days or a few weeks, because we'll find you some.
What I'm interested in, okay, I mean, that's great. What I'm also interested in is a big part of our focus is the development of cooperative buildings, mixed use buildings owned by creatives, planned, designed, and created for creatives to own as a cooperative. So to collectively own. So right now we're focused on ideally a 30-unit mixed use commercial on the first floor, 4 units on 4 floors of residential work live up above for creatives. And we absolutely want to hit all those marks from the green perspective, environmental, and all those things that are important to them. And we do need some support and some guidance, and philanthropy is great too, but just to be connected with organizations like that.
Well, so what you could do is, because we're gonna have a meeting with the couple of the board members. We're waiting for the president of Global Green to get back from Europe. They have several environmental Global Green buildings in Europe, and he hasn't traveled in 2 years because of the COVID-19. So he should be back in the next week or so, and he's coming to New Orleans for 2 weeks. So if you could put together some kind of package with all the artists, like Kali did with the artists here, so we could present it to him. Because
well, that's what we're working on now to get committed artists, but we do have a slide deck about the development that's done already, that we absolutely can share the vision for
we could show him that when he comes here, because he's like I say, he's gonna be here for 2 weeks. He's gonna be here for 2 weeks, and maybe you could come down here and you could be the voice.
Well, we can take that offline. I don't want to take up all our time.
Or maybe that they could join us on pop-up research station or something.
That would be
as a guest, and we present them that way. I think that would be really cool.
Well, it's normally when we do a Zoom meeting, it's with the director in Italy and the executive director in Hollywood, California. But most of the time it's only the CEO. So, and most of the time these Zoom meetings are already pre-planned.
Okay.
So, but But if you have this clip, you know, it'd be good for us to present it to him.
Okay, well, we've made,
Because
go
the
ahead.
green projects is what's is going to get funded. And so if you're going to purchase a building, you have to have it a LEED facility.
Right. We absolutely, I mean, it would be great if we could have a LEED platinum facility. I even thought about getting my LEED certification,
Oh, that's
not
what,
just,
no,
not
that's
just for our
good.
project, but
No,
just in
that's good.
general.
That's, in fact, that's what we anticipate, all of us, our whole team, we're gonna start studying. We all gonna become a LEED certified.
Do you all know what that is?
No, would you explain this?
Yeah.
Tell them, Omar.
LEED certified is an international organization that was formed to build environmental facilities, not just whether it's homes, schools, you know, residential, commercial, and it has to pass their criteria. So the building we are in is a platinum building. It's a platinum building. So you have a LEED certified silver building, a LEED certified gold building, a LEED certified platinum building. So the platinum building is the most stringent guidelines to build. The only platinum building that I know in America is in Golden Gate Park, the California Academy of Sciences. In fact, it's the only double platinum, and they don't give out that easy. It's the only double platinum museum in the world. It cost $510 million to construct, and it took some of the best minds in the world 10 years to plan. And LEED is all caps, LEED, all caps.
I put it in the chat and I put a link to the levels. I know about it because it's aligned with the architecture, engineering, and construction industry that my family, you know, is connected with. But it's something that, I mean, you can get LEED certification, I would imagine, even for space, any sort of spaces.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
And also, one of our board members, there's 5 construction managers on the Obama project. My cousin, she's the lead, and she's the senior construction manager. The Obama project is slated to cost $700 million, but it's gonna probably be $1 billion. The building, they drilled, I think 200 hydro tubes in the earth. So it's gonna be the building will be self-sustained. It's gonna be amazing when they finish it. And they're gonna get rid of Cornell Drive North is gonna become the museum campus. So you'll be able to walk from the Science and Industry to the Obama Museum or vice versa.
Yeah, we're right here in the midst of all that construction, Omar, but for the detail on that, thank you. If we go down South Shore, you know, everybody's turned around.
And they started when I was there, I was there for 4 months this year. They started redoing the electrical and the sewer system on Stony, because they're widening Stony since they're getting rid of Cornell Drive North. And if you know anybody that live in those buildings on 57th Street and on Stony and with that Stony and 58, that high rise, if you know anybody, they should be taking pictures. They're gonna be so valuable.
Well, they're also widening Lakeshore Drive, to my knowledge, on the right, I believe.
That's correct. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think they're gonna do something they're not telling us. I think they're gonna do eminent domain on some of those apartment buildings on 67th Street.
Wow. It's a lot going on over there.
Yeah, it just seems that the people with the power and the money, they have the last word.
Right. I was just at the 63rd Street Beach last week, 2 weeks ago. And all that construction is going on, but that's a historic beachfront in terms of the Chicago history.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they still have the drum sessions over there.
they still have the drum sessions over there.
Yeah, I enjoyed. I always enjoyed that. And someone told me they're thinking about putting the L back on 63rd Street because
Yeah,
of the Obama Museum.
yeah, they are.
The people
They
gonna be
went
so
through a
mad.
lot of trouble to get it cut down.
Ain't
And
that
I
something?
think it was Cottage at one point because there's a lot of new development going on there and they didn't want the L track. So now they're putting it back in.
They actually gonna put it back in.
Yeah,
They're doing it because of that
they're
Obama
gonna
Museum.
do exactly. They're gonna stretch it all the way to Stony Island, I think.
Yeah, that's where it used to come to, right there.
Where it used to come to. Yep.
Well, the thing is,
Little did they know, it's just a series of events that happened to make that all change.
yeah, and they said the museum is gonna draw 1 million people a year.
Well, it looks very impressive when you ride past there, all those gigantic cranes. I have never seen any cranes though. Up there.
But let me tell you something. I don't like the design. Have you seen the design?
I
Yeah.
have.
Well, the same architect built the building on the Midway. You know the Chicago Arts. I think it's the Arts Building on the Midway. The stone, it's all concrete.
Uh-huh.
They
Are you talking about the Logan Center?
it's all concrete. It's about two or three blocks after you come underneath the under the train, that IC train on the left there.
I think I know where you're talking
You
about.
can't help but see it. It's a big piece of concrete. But that's how the Obama Museum is gonna be, a big piece of concrete with narrow windows. I'm sure it's gonna be ideal inside, but at least it's gonna be a elite building.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for sharing the information.
Yeah. Chicago is my second home. I still have my Chicago driver's license.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
I didn't either.
Have my Chicago driver's license.
I love New Orleans. That's where my family is from.
Is that right? What's your last name?
The last name, well, one last name is Sewell, Suell.
Oh, I know some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you got Sues and Suleys.
Okay. Yeah, Sewell. So my mom and dad were from there.
Well, these charts we have here, I was looking at the names. I'm looking at surnames I know in New Orleans. Some of those African slaves that's on this wall on these charts. It's just amazing to see that.
I bet.
Well, again, thank you for sharing. And we're recording this, so we'll be able to have it over on Pop-Up Research Station on YouTube, our channel.
Great.
So great. So about tonight's event, that Artists Design the Future. Did you want to repeat that, Kayla?
She said she's on a call. I
What
don't
did
know if
you
she's back
say?
yet.
Oh, they're
Oh,
on a
she's-
call, y'all. What did you want me to
Okay.
repeat?
Just tonight's session?
Oh, can I show the flyer?
Sure, that'd be
Yes.
great.
And just an FYI, we have, if you know anybody who is deaf or hard of hearing, we have an ASL interpreter for Thursday in South Shore. Um, oh, excuse me. I'm actually on the phone with Sahai, who is, okay, Sahai, do you need me to call you back? Okay, I'll call you back. All right, I'll call you back. Bye. Yes, I got it. You saved it. Okay, bye. Okay, let me see. So thank you, Alpha. So we're hosting 2 info sessions that one will be in Logan Square. Oh no, where's the one with the ASL interpretation? Y'all gonna have to just give me a moment.
That you
So
said
we
you're
are
gonna feel well.
hosting. Yeah, I'm trying to field doing things over here too. So we are co-hosting 2 info sessions about let me just, so they're focused on for creatives. That's our focus of people we're inviting. I mean, obviously it's open to the public, but we want to help people understand more about what shared ownership, collectives, ways you can own property, and then share some case studies, which are models locally and nationally of art spaces and some innovative art spaces. And then we're going to have some brainstorming and ideas about challenges that creatives have around space, art space, whether it's live work, whether it's just finding art space, whatever. And please, Rhonda, if you're available, you'd be great. You know, I know you've had your own personal experiences.
Okay. Yeah.
And then also we want to kind of enter into that conversation too around defining for ourselves who are artists and creatives. I know we've done a lot of this sort of conversation in the context of the pop-up research station, but not enough with the larger community. So what our intention is as well is to take this, there you go. I was trying to grab the one that has the ASL interpretation logo on it, but just know that it's the same like this. It just has on the South Shore side. Thank you, Alpha. It has the ASL logo so that people know if they're deaf or hard of hearing, they will be accommodated. So what our intention is as well is we are simultaneously planning an event in August that's an invite-only event with philanthropy, with community stakeholders, with some politicians. We are co-sponsored also for that by the similar entities, the Chicago Community Loan Fund, Center for Shared Ownership, and some others. But we are going to actually do kind of a mini charrette with them, sharing this information that we get from the info session with them around, this is what artists want, need, and challenges. How can you all help us? What are some solutions to these problems that we see that you all can help us solve so that we can provide this and help artists create space for themselves that they own. So we want folks with the money in the room to understand what the creatives challenges are so that they can help us solve them and put some money to it as and energy and work and help us make this happen. So it's kind of a 2-step thing, but the August is not open to the public, but these, and then our goal as well is after the August, starting most likely in September, we will have regular info sessions every 1 or 2 months. Just because we also are going to lead into doing a 10-session training about cooperatives for artists who want to learn more, who might be interested in being members of the cooperative owners, either of a commercial space or work-live space collectively. So that is part of what this brand new announcement with Rad Lab is going to help fund those training sessions. And then our intention with that, and I know I'm kind of going on a tangent, I'll be done. The intention with that, that's kind of like step 2 for the artists, is any artists who are interested in the 10-session training that'll start in the fall, we will also put an actual amount of money on the table for the artists that finish those sessions towards their investment to become a member owner in the ultimate cooperative. So these info sessions are really just kind of the beginning to get that ball going.
Okay.
And we've already got close to 20 or already have 20 people registered. We were trying to max it at 30. So if
Mhm.
you're interested, I'd say get registered sooner than later.
Where's the registration information on this flyer?
It's on the flyer, but I will put, you can scan right now.
Right
If you
here.
take your
It
phone,
says
you
register.
can scan the QR and I'll put the link in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Right. So scanning QR codes is real popular now. I remember 10 years ago when they first started coming on the scene and not that many people were using it, but now it's really ingrained in our phones.
Do you have to, yeah, do you have to get the app? You have to download an app for this?
No,
No?
no. You open your camera, you
Mhm.
point your camera at the QR code and let the
Mhm.
camera focus on it. And then a link pops up at the top of your phone.
Mm,
And you just touch the link.
okay,
But in lieu of that, I just put the link in the chat
okay.
to register.
So this is for August, not for today's session.
No, this is for July. Those are for July.
Oh, I was just gonna-
August is not the info sessions. August is something totally different.
okay.
And
I was just
that's-
gonna try to show up today. I'm not gonna be able to attend Thursdays because I have a planning meeting here with our Building Community Foundation. We're doing our fundraiser to raise money for the York District, what we do annually,
Awesome.
which is August 6th. Night, well, Thursday night, we have a planning meeting.
Yeah, I'm going to try my best to be there on Thursday.
Awesome.
Because that's by you. It's
Thank
not
you.
far from you, right? The
Yeah, it's
Saturday.
not that bad. Just taking 71st Street over. It's not too bad.
All right. Any other announcements? This is really, I know Lisa's saying she's getting ready to go out of town again. She goes to a really exciting location.
Where's that?
I am too.
You're going out of town again?
Yeah, I was gifted another partial trip to this one's to Mexico again.
Ooh,
I guess the universe wants me in Mexico.
ooh. Liza, where are you going?
That was Lisa.
Oh, Lisa.
Lisa,
So where
Lisa,
are you
yeah.
going, Lisa?
Oh, I'm doing a road trip
Oh,
to I'm going to Louisville tomorrow because I want to see the Muhammad Ali Museum.
mm-hmm.
Go to ENS Museum and then go to Hotel whatever 21C. Then going down to Knoxville, then end up in Pigeon Forge and Galesburg, then go to Asheville, then go to Winston-Salem, where I'm from, for the Black Theater Fest for about 5 days.
Oh, you got it. How long is that gonna be? 2-week trip?
About a week. I gotta be back by Monday before I do the presentation here. But yeah, it's about close to 2 weeks. But I need to allow
Can
a
you
day gap.
believe? That sounds wonderful. I know you're gonna need a vacation from your vacation.
But I always do.
Yeah.
Well, if you all haven't visited the Legacy Museum, you have to go to the